I'm Dolores Nolan. Thanks for tuning to Island View, your source for professionally produced TV news dedicated to issues concerning Staten Island. If you know of any stories you think we should be investigating or have any comments whatsoever, please call our Westerly studio for immediate attention. Now, here's a quick look at what's on tonight.
Tonight's program includes a look back at the brutal winter of '94.
Terror. Terror in the car, terror on the sidewalk, in the street. It was just awful.
The Rosebank post office parking lot is closed off to the public, causing chaos on Tompkins Avenue for everyone.
Just open it. There's no need for it to be closed.
A spotlight on Staten Island's amazing beer brewing history.
11 firms were awarded prizes in brewing, and 3 of them were Staten Island companies.
And here we go again. We're in the streets and in your face with yet another thought-provoking question. Hey, keep your hands off those remotes. We're coming right back.
Welcome back to Island View. Well, the snow has finally cleared, hopefully for good. Although, as we expected, the potholes are worse. Field reporter Mickey Burns reports on the aftermath of a long, cold winter.
Although spring has finally arrived, last winter delivered a knockout punch Staten Islanders won't soon forget. It was a winter that will certainly be remembered as one of the century's worst around here. In the aftermath, what we're left with, besides thousands of potholes like this, are the graphic memories.
Terror. Terror in the car, terror on the sidewalk, in the street. It was just awful. I haven't had a job in 14 years. I just started to work, and it's been awful to have to drive back and forth. I have 2 kids in 2 different schools that we drive to. Just terrible memories. I'm glad it's finished.
So are most islanders, who spent the good part of the winter trying in vain to avoid the thousands of potholes that could be found on just about every street on the island. With winter finally over, it's time to repair all of those damaged roads. That job belongs to the crews who work for the Bureau of Highways. For them, the winter created miles of necessary road work.
Yeah, this winter was very devastating on the roads in Staten Island. Here's our supervisor, Bob. We've been trying to make the roads a little better for our Staten Islanders. The roads, the salt that Sanitation killed the roads, and we're just trying to make them a little bearable for the people to drive on. I rake, and the big gang over here trying to get Richmond Road back to normal. This is Ben. Ben, come over here, Ben. Another raker.
We're trying to do the best we can, you know, fixing the roads.
It's a losing battle out there, guys.
It's a lot of work, you know. We had a bad winter this year, you know, between, like you said, between the salt and, other than the salt, you got the trucks, everything, you know, it's just bad, you know. We're trying to keep up. It's very hard. So we're doing the best we can.
Because of the beating Staten Island roads took last winter, few cars escaped the season unharmed, which kept the automotive repair business working overtime.
It's been very busy as far as tires and hitting potholes, a lot of flats, and underneath the cars rotting out, a lot of exhaust jobs and shock jobs. It's been very busy.
Busier than ever before.
Yes.
Right. And how was it this winter working outdoors in these harsh conditions? This is a bad winter.
This has been real rough. Yeah, real rough. My hands been chapped like you wouldn't believe, cracks in them just from the cold every day.
You're outside most of the time?
Yeah, we got guys inside, and I'm in and out, so it's been very rough.
If there was ever a time to be in the auto body repair business, last winter was it. Because of the unrelenting number of storms and treacherous driving conditions, the season probably produced a record number of fender benders. This was a rough winter. How did it affect the auto body business?
It has kept all of us very busy in this shop. The owner, the secretaries, the technicians, the painters, so we were hopping and happy to be busy.
Right, and the most frequent kind of business was from what kind of auto body work?
Oh, many fender benders.
There's a lot more to say about that subject, and we'll have part 2 of the winter damage later in the program. We'll take a quick break, and we'll return with a postal problem in Rosebank and everyone's favorite, What's Your Beef?
back to Island View. A couple of weeks ago in our What's Your Beef segment, a Rosebank resident described the infuriating parking situation at the Rosebank post office. Here's our follow-up report to that beef.
For years, customers doing business with the Rosebank post office were allowed to park in the rear parking lot. No more. After a recent break-in back in mid-January, postal officials decided to permanently ban the parking lot to the public. This decision has many local residents as well as local business owners up in arms.
I spend more time in the post office than at the bank on a Saturday. Believe me when I tell you, almost an hour at the post office. There's cars parked all over the place on the sidewalk. Not only that, all the curbs are broken on the sidewalk, and when you come off the sidewalk, there's like a metal grating, and cars are getting flats and everything.
It's terrible. I got a business nearby, and I can't park here. I don't need this post office. Either they open up a parking or take the no parking signs down or move it. It's awful.
Have you gotten a ticket or had a problem with illegal parking?
I didn't get a ticket, but I wrote a letter to the postal services there and complained about it.
Did they respond?
Not yet.
What has Rosebank postal customers so angry is that after the winter break-in at the post office, its 27-spot parking lot was sealed off to the public. Since the lot has been closed, postal customers have had two unsatisfactory options: park illegally on Tompkins Avenue and risk getting a ticket, or park in a convenience store lot and risk having their cars towed. According to the employees of the convenient food mart at the corner of Highland and Tompkins, business has not been the same since the postal lot closed.
It affected our business terribly. You can never find a parking space in here. We've lost business. We've gotten into many fights with people. We've had fist fights. We've had cars towed almost.
You were telling me that it starts, when does this start?
About 8:30 in the morning, you cannot even get near the store, and there'll be nobody in the store. But yet you cannot get your car in the parking lot because it's full.
My customer came in, they cannot park the car, and when they came in, they told me, I cannot park my car. What I gonna do? I have no chance and no choice to do anything. I feel bad when the people take advantage from me.
With Rosebank residents, community boards, postal customers, and local business merchants all up in arms, I asked Customer Relations Coordinator Brian Michaelson how the U.S. Postal Service plans to deal with this controversy.
The statement in the postal policy right now is the lot has to remain closed for the time being. This does not preclude that we're going to not ever reopen the lot. We're going to have a professional fence person come down with our maintenance person and look and see if it is possible to fence off the lot into some sort of subsector where the customers can park there, not compromise the security of the post office, and then come here to the main entrance. And that's the real deal as of right now.
Many people that I spoke with feel that because of the January break-in, thousands of people are now being punished. And as one Rosebank man said to me, it's just not fair because there's absolutely no place to park. For Island View, I'm Mickey Burns.
That post office situation was brought to our attention in a segment we bring to you each week. Now here's this week's installment of What's Your Beef?
My beef is that Staten Island Cable is ruining our shows. I'm a cable access producer for Channel 24. On my last show, Steel versus Cable, April 5th, 1 p.m., Channel 24, they put the wrong program on. My show started late, cutting off the title. It also ended early, cutting off my graphics. This regularly happens on leased access and public access. I'm also a subscriber, so I feel I'm not getting what I'm paying for. Good quality video. Yeah, I think the problem down there is that the equipment is old and they refuse to upgrade all of it. They upgrade some of it, not all of it. They have too small staff, and they should have at least 3 or 4 more people working in the back room monitoring this here whole program, all the programs that go on.
A beef. Everybody's got one. If you do, call us right now at 727-3777. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to bring you a retrospective look at Staten Island's beer brewing history. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Island View. Tax Day, April 15th, is just right around the corner. And not so coincidentally, the subject to this week's thought-provoking question.
Nope. I'm going to do it soon. Last day. I wait for the last day all the time. I try to get away with murder.
Will you get money or your own money?
They better give me money because I'm not giving nothing out this year. I'm buying a house. What do you want?
I already got it back. Yeah. Rapid. Whenever there's a refund, it's rapid.
You mean my federal tax?
Yeah.
Not yet.
No?
No. Maybe in a week. I'll make it by the deadline.
Yes.
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 Oh, God, I don't even know. My mother did it. Yes.
I sure did.
My husband, yes, he took care of it.
He does. What kind of forms did he fill out?
What is it, a joint? I have nothing, I don't get involved. He takes care of it.
We owe the state of New York a lot.
Oh, yes. Yes, I have. I want that money.
So you're getting money back?
Oh, yeah. Not as much as I expected. Uncle Sam got me this year. At least I don't have to pay him back, though, you know?
This week's Spotlight focuses on years gone by when Staten Island was the biggest and best beer brewer in the country.
Spotlight on Staten Island's beer brewing history.
A long time ago, 1851 to be exact, the first of the great Staten Island breweries opened its doors. The Clifton Brewery was first. Many more would follow. Constans, Bechtel's, Monroe Eckstein, Bachman, R&H were just some of the breweries operating on Staten Island in the late 1800s. Back then, make no mistake about it, the beer brewing industry on Staten Island was big business.
In the 1870s, there were at least 8 breweries operating on Staten Island. They employed over 360 men and produced 160,000 barrels of beer annually. That had a value of about $1.5 million. So it was a major industry on the island.
Why did it flourish so on Staten Island?
Staten Island was an ideal location for the brewing industry because it had ample supplies of pure spring and well water, and also because of the hills on Staten Island. There were caves in the hills which were good for cold storage of the beer during the winter months.
Another reason for the success of beer brewing on Staten Island was that the island beer quickly established a reputation of being really good. In 1879, the Secretary of State, with members of his cabinet, brought the visiting Japanese embassy to the Bechtel Brewery. So pleased were the Japanese dignitaries that they left an order for 100,000 bottles of Bechtel's beer to be sent back to Japan. Other honors would follow.
In the 19th century, at the Philadelphia Exposition of 1876, 11 firms were awarded prizes in brewing, and 3 of them were Staten Island companies. Also, one of Staten Island's breweries, the Bechtel Brewery, won awards at expositions in Paris and in Sydney, Australia.
As an offshoot of the breweries here on Staten Island, South Beach at one time was a big resort.
Yes, the breweries had beer gardens attached. Some of the brewers operated hotels and saloons. These provided a market for their product. And Staten Island's resorts were very popular during the 19th century. Germans from other areas of New York City came here by the thousands to enjoy themselves on Sunday afternoons.
Another business that flourished because of the breweries, due in part to a tax technicality, was the bottling industry.
There was a law stating that beer could not be bottled in the same place where it was brewed. So although some of the breweries did have bottling plants, they could not be part of the brewery. They could be across the street. And there were also many independent bottlers working on Staten Island.
Why did the industry die?
Staten Island's breweries were primarily family-owned and operated businesses. And when Prohibition hit in 1919, they really weren't able to survive that. Only one of Staten Island's breweries, R&H, was able to make it through Prohibition.
Were there any other reasons for failure?
They came under increased competition from national brands of beer. And these were smaller industries than the larger ones, particularly in the Midwest. And so they just weren't able to match that competition.
By 1963, it was over. The last of the Staten Island breweries had closed its doors for good. Left behind is a chapter in the history of our borough that reminds us of a time when beer making was king right here on Staten Island. For Island View, I'm Mickey Burns.
In a moment, part 2 of our story on the winter damage to Staten Island. But first this.
Island View is brought to you in part by the law firm of DeSantis & Spinelli. Professional, courteous, capable, and thorough. The law firm of DeSantis & Spinelli, 983-7400. David E. Cohen CPA. Give your tax troubles to a friend. David E. Cohen, the only number you need to punch for taxes. 727-5697. Plate Man. Why stand in another tedious DMV line? Save the time, the travel, and the wait. Call Plate Man at 667-4746. The Jewish Community Center. Share the fun. The JCC. It's much more than you can imagine. Call 981-1500 or 356-8113. Mid-Island Auto Body, Staten Island's most advanced facility, located off Arthur Kill Road near Bloomingdale Road. Mid-Island Auto Body service for the 90s. Call 948-1717. To advertise on Island View, call Vision Quest Productions at 727-3777. That's Vision Quest at 727-3777.
And now we continue with field reporter Mickey Burns and how the 15 winter storms have affected our island.
Last winter will also be remembered for the shortage of ice-melting salt. According to Gino Mortilaro, president of Village Hardware, it was impossible to keep up with the constant demand. How much salt did you sell this winter?
Thousands of pounds, yes. I would say close to 10,000 pounds.
And a normal winter, what would you think you would sell in a normal?
Sometimes you sell maybe not even 1,000 pounds. Yeah. And the only thing was also we can get salt. We could have sold even more than that.
The harsh winter also dealt another blow to Staten Island's beach erosion problem. This section of Gateway National Park in Great Kills was bad before the winter began. With each passing storm, the problem was only compounded. Another victim of the winter was the Lane Theater, which had recently gained landmark status. It was being utilized as a community cultural center. According to Hank Picuro, one of the owners of the Lane and president of V.I.P Real Estate, this past winter was a little too tough for the old theater.
Well, they had frozen pipes in the theater. The heating plant was not working properly and broke down, so that the pipes burst and further damaged the building to more than it had been prior.
I also asked Hank how the severe winter affected the real estate business in general.
I would say that business, all kind of real estate business, had to be off at least 50% because people were not coming out. People were not renting stores. People didn't want to go out and buy houses, so the business was affected very negatively.
As the memory of this past winter fades, for many what won't go away are all those sore backs from shoveling snow. According to chiropractor Dr. Stanley Stoss, many of those bad backs could have been avoided.
First thing you should approach shoveling snow like any type of sport. Make sure that you warm up your muscles a little bit, especially if the weather is rather cold outside. A lot of people will just walk in out of the house and just go right to it, and the most common problem is the muscles aren't warmed up, and so they will pull them or strain them very easily. So stretch out. Stretching the legs and the lower back is most important. This way you can prevent any kind of injury to the low back.
For Nina Sparaco, who opened up a beauty salon on January 7th, seeing her new business survive the brutal winter gave her optimism for the future.
To be honest with you, we just opened up. January 7th was the first day we opened up, and it happened to be the Friday of the ice storm, which did help us because we were busy and the weather did slow us down, which helped us get the little glitches out that we needed to. And it helped our confidence in knowing that if we still were able to stay afloat during one of the worst winters in the century, then I just feel that business is going to be great for us in the future.
The winter winter of '94 will long be remembered for the amount of storms it crammed into one season. More than likely, it will also be used for decades to come as a measuring stick and reminder of just how severe Staten Island winters can be. For Island View, I'm Mickey Burns.
Mickey, this has really been a tough winter.
It really has been, Dolores. Many people that I spoke with felt that one of the problems with this past winter was that we had experienced moderate winters during the 1980s and early 1990s. Consequently, many people weren't ready nor prepared for the old-fashioned winter we just experienced.
That's true.
For instance, according to the National Weather Service, the winter of 1947 around here was much more severe.
You're kidding. I can't imagine a winter more severe than this one.
It was. So although we had a lot of snow and it was cold this winter, it could be a lot worse.
Let's hope it's over, Mickey. Let's hope spring has sprung.
It has for now, and people are telling me next year they're going to be better prepared.
Well, that's smart. Mickey, thank you. Well, that wraps it up for this week. Please remember that Vision Quest Productions brings you a brand new Island View each and every week. And as always, if you have any comments or story suggestions, please call or write us. You'll find our phone number and address directly after the credits. For Island View, I'm Dolores Nolan. Good night, and we'll see you next week.